you're here, I'm betting you're someone who knows how to get things done. Maybe you've led a team, you've raised a family, you've run a community organization, or you've achieved some really significant things at work. But now you're looking at the state of our country with the rollback of rights, the rise of white nationalism, and the erosion of truth and democracy, and you know in your bones that this is a moment where you have to do something. But when it comes to taking real action, you're not sure what to do. If that's you, you've landed in the right place. If you've ever said to yourself, I want to do more, but what would actually help? Or I kind of know what I'm good at, but I'm not really sure where it fits in this. Maybe you've thought to yourself, there's so many groups and so many causes that I care about. Where do I even begin? Or maybe you've got that little nagging voice in your head that says, who am I to try to lead something so big? If you've thought any of that, I'm here to tell you exactly how you can make a difference. And in fact, why you're the person that this moment needs. Because the people with experience, integrity, and capacity, when they decide to act against fascism, are the ones who can actually move the needle in really significant ways. Stay with me. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Elizabeth Cronise McLaughlin. I'm a former human rights and Wall Street attorney, a lifelong activist, and for the last 15 years, I've worked with change agents just like you who are really anxious to try to make a difference in this era, but aren't sure how to begin. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Now let's get started. In this video, I'm going to show you how to start fighting fascism with what you already have. We're going to move past the who am I to do this thinking. We're going to talk through how to choose 1 to 2 issues that really call to you in this moment. We're going to figure out how the skills that you currently have can apply to this moment's movements. And I'll help you figure out how to plug into the right groups at the right moment and how to take action that will actually work. And if you're someone who feels called to start something yourself, whether that's to lead locally, to build behind the scenes, or to contribute your leadership in a new way, I want to invite you to book a free strategy call with our team at the Ripple Effect Institute. The link for that is below. Because the desire to help, that's not actually the problem. What you need is a path. Part 1, that voice in your head, it's not the truth. If you ever thought to yourself, I'm not radical enough for this work, or I don't know the right language, the right terms, or the history of activism enough to make a difference. Or, I care, but I'm not sure I'm the person people are waiting for. That voice in your head, it's not your intuition. It's actually internalized cultural programming. Maybe it's patriarchy convincing you that you're not ready or you're not qualified. Maybe it's white supremacy culture telling you that you have to be perfect before you can start. Maybe it's capitalism telling you that you're only valuable if you're making money 24/7. But here's the truth. The most effective movements in our history were founded by people who did not wait to be perfect before they started and who didn't wait for anyone else's approval. What we need in this moment is not saints. We need steady hands. We need people who are willing to listen, learn, and be in the work for the long haul. And if you've ever led anything, organized anything, managed anyone, including maybe your own children, you already have what it takes. The only difference is now is the time to do it on purpose. So today I want to offer you 3 questions to consider really seriously. What am I waiting for someone else to fix? What am I waiting for permission to say or do? And lastly, what could I offer if I just stopped waiting? Part 2, choose 1 or 2 issues that really call to you. Okay, I want to share with you now a trap that so many of our clients who come into the Ripple Effect Institute are struggling with. It's the fact that we are seeing so many forms of trauma and harm right now, and there are so many issues that call to us that we feel like we have to do it all at once. But here's a secret. You do not have to take on every issue to effectively fight fascism. In fact, sustainable activism starts by focusing in. Ask yourself, what keeps me up at night? What news stories do I avoid because they hit too close to home? Whew, that's a good one. What injustice do I feel the most compelled to change? These are your starting points. They could include ICE raids and immigration defense work, attacks on LGBTQ+ youth, school board politics, and the banning of books and the truth of Black American history, reproductive freedom, or climate collapse, maybe gun violence or voter suppression. Whatever your issue is, the most important thing you can do is claim it. This doesn't mean you stop caring about other issues, but it does mean that you choose to focus your attention, your work, and your activism on specific things that matter most to you. And then you have to trust that the rest of us are out here covering the remaining things that you care about. One of the things that we desperately need this moment is to reject scarcity culture when it comes to our capacity to do this work. All of us together can make a difference on every issue, but any single one of us cannot cover everything. So choose your issue, focus in, and get started. Part 3, match your skill set to movement needs. Now here's something key. You don't actually have to become somebody else to fight fascism in this era. You can use the skills you already have. Something that we tend to forget, or maybe never even knew in the first place, is that movements don't just run on compelling public speakers or on protesters. Movements actually need strategists, project managers, people who can fundraise, lawyers. They need writers, designers, data people. They also need healers, educators, spiritual leaders, artists, even logistics ninjas. But what they need more than anything is people who can show up reliably and use their skills for good. Now's the time to ask yourself what skills you have to offer to the fight against fascism. Ask yourself the following. What do I already know how to do? What do I actually enjoy doing? What roles have I held where people trusted me? What I want you to do right now, and it's okay to pause this video to go do it, is to literally write down 5 skills that you know you've acquired over the course of your life so far. And then I want you to brainstorm about how those skills could be applied to creating change and furthering justice. And if you don't know the answer, that's okay too, because what we're moving on to next is how to plug in. And that will lead you to figure out where your skills are best applied. Part 4, find a group and get started. Now comes the part that most people think is really hard, but actually it isn't. Once you've figured out what issues call to you and you've figured out your current skill set, the next part is actually pretty simple. You don't actually have to start from scratch. What you have to do is figure out who is doing work on the issues that you care about in the community where you live. All you have to do is find them and reach out. Here's what to do. Search for organizations that are working on the issues that you care about, locally and maybe nationally. Make sure you follow them on social media and you get on their mailing list. Next, go look at the community calendar for the organization that you're interested in. You might even want to check out what they're doing regionally for you by going to mobilize.us and searching for the name of the organization. Next, you've got to go to a meeting, show up at a Zoom, or attend a rally. And then don't neglect this really important final step. You need to introduce yourself and ask how you can help. The key here is that if you know what your skill set is, you can also offer to help in ways that make sense to the organization or the movement. If you're a writer, maybe they need help with copywriting for a flyer or a zine. If you're an artist, maybe they need some cover art for their latest postcarding campaign. But if you don't ask how you can help, you're not going to know how to continue plugging in. And then from there, you've got to follow up, keep your commitments, and do the work. That's it. Don't overthink it. This is actually not as hard as it looks. Just show up with humility, readiness, and a willingness to learn. And if one group isn't a fit, or you find the leadership isn't terribly effective, find another. The great news about this era and the fight that we're all in together is so many people are in motion. So many organizations are doing really critical work. So if you come up short the first time you reach out, keep going. The right organization will welcome your leadership and show you how to most effectively plug in. Part 5. But what if I want to build something myself? Okay. Now I want to talk to a specific segment of you all, because some of you watching this already may have an idea for something that you want to build yourself. Maybe you want to start a local initiative or build your own nonprofit. Maybe you want to organize behind the scenes on your own or with a small group of people you already know. Or maybe you want to use your business or existing platform to further social justice or offer your expertise strategically across multiple organizations. But you're not really exactly sure how to start. And of course, you don't want to waste your time or energy. You want to do it right. That's exactly where we come in at the Ripple Effect Institute. We're a strategic incubator and think tank for people just like you. People who feel called to contribute at a higher level, but want to do it effectively, sustainably, and without burning out. And if you've watched to the end of this video, I can tell you something about yourself. You're not too late. You're not underqualified. You're not too privileged to make a difference in this era. You're actually ready. And if you're watching this and you're thinking, yes, 100%, I'm in, but I really need some guidance, let's talk. Book a free strategy call with a member of our team at the link below. We'll help you identify the next best step for you consistent with your capacity, your gifts, and your desire to be of service. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit subscribe and then maybe drop me a comment and tell me how you're going to fight fascism in the next week. What's one action that you're going to take to move the needle? Because together we can do this. We can fight fascism and even defeat it. But it's going to take every one of us stepping up, identifying the issues that call to us, figuring out the skills that we can use in furtherance of justice, and then plugging in and refusing to quit. We can do this, but we have to do it together. Thanks so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video.